Hi friends, today we're going to do my less than 10-minute writing exercise that will improve your writing by expanding your vocabulary. I created this exercise years ago when my I felt like my writing was becoming dull and not very, not very interesting, and just I needed to put some more life into it. I know when you read your favorite novels or your favorite authors, there's certain passages that just grab you, and it's like they've just used the right words, the right sentences, and it's just magical. And I just feel like my writing is missing that. So I created this exercise to help me to have a wider range of vocabulary to choose from. And it's not just to have a bigger selection of words, but it's also to have a better selection of words. You're picking words that add more depth and clarity to your writing. That's the whole point of having various words to choose from. It's not just, sure, you can say it one way or the other, or use one word or the other, but one word may be more clear and express what you're trying to say in a stronger way. Anyway, that's why I created this exercise, because I just wanted to play around with words. I love words. I love the English language. I love, just flipping through the dictionary, looking at words that are interesting to me. So anyway, I've created this exercise. It's less than 10 minutes. It's not going to take us long. And you can kind of use this to start your writing day and to kind of get your, get the process going for you for the day. And maybe some of these words will inspire you later in the day when you're thinking about them, that maybe you could use them in whatever project you're working on. Anyway, let's get to it. The three words I've selected today for us to play around with are atone, repertoire, and peruse. Atone, repertoire, and peruse. All right, we're going to use each one of these words in a sentence and just kind of have a little fun with our writing. If you already know these words, that's fantastic. This exercise should be very easy for you then. If you're not familiar with these words, make them part of you so they're accessible to you when you write. And that way you can just expand your vocabulary. You have greater amount of words to choose from, and hopefully improve your writing. All right, let's get started with atone. And atone is a verb, an action word, and it means to make amends. All right, let's use atone in a sentence. All right, here's what I got. Having found God while incarcerated, he vowed to atone for his crimes. So here you have a fellow who's in prison, and maybe he's been there a while, and he's vowed to atone, to make amends for his crimes. He's feeling remorseful, and that's a good thing. If you can get out of prison and hopefully turn your life around and do some good. Anyway, let's move on to repertoire. And repertoire is a noun, a word that represents a person, place, or a thing, and it means skills or devices that are available to someone. All right, let's see what we can come up with. See what kind of sentence we can use repertoire in. All right, here's what I got. Expert knowledge of vocabulary is part of a writer's repertoire. So again, repertoire means skills or devices available to someone. In this case, available to the writer. Expert knowledge of vocabulary is a skill that's available to a writer to help a writer do well. And I hope you find that in this exercise or in doing this exercise. Let's move on to peruse. Okay. And peruse is a verb, an action word, and it means to consider or to study. Okay, let's see what kind of sentence I can use peruse in. All right, here's what I got. She perused the bin of old record albums and hoped to find a gem or two. So here you have this girl or woman. She's looking through these old record albums and she's hoping to find something that she would like to listen to. She's perusing. She perused. She considered or studied these bins of record albums, hoping to find something. So anyway, that's perused. Okay, 3 wonderful, interesting words: atone, repertoire, and peruse. If you're unfamiliar with these words, play around with them, make them part of you so they're accessible to you when you write. If you enjoyed this writing exercise, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching,